we are in the QBO gym, and this is where we have numerous hands-on exercises that simulate real-life scenarios that you may encounter as a bookkeeper. Each month covers a variety of new topics and scenarios, and to make it a little bit easier for you, we break it down into 4 different sections. So if you are looking to work on your bookkeeping skills, this is the place for you. And if you want to do an entire month's worth of these all on your own, be sure to join our free 5-day bookkeeping challenge. All you need to do is click on the link in the description. But let's go ahead and look at today's exercise, which is being pulled from our September Year 1 Cool Down section. At the top here is an animated video to give you an understanding of what you, the bookkeeper, will be doing for your client Craig this month. Below that is an interactive pre-assessment quiz that relates to the video up above. Below that are the exercises in this section. And at the bottom here is an optional area where after you have gone through all of the exercises in this section and completed them, you will unlock some sample marketing posts that you can use on your LinkedIn to share with everyone what you have learned so far. So let's dive into today's exercise where we are going to practice running Craig's reports. Go ahead and click on that link to have the exercise come up for you. I have it over here on the right side of my screen, so let's read through the scenario. After you have reconciled your bank statements, it's time to run reports. Craig has now been in business for about 4 months, and he asks if you will review the profit and loss or P&L report with him to see how things are going so far. Now, let's go ahead and prepare for the meeting with Craig. Now, you will need to be in the sample company to do this exercise. If you are not sure how to get into the sample company or get your own free QBOA account, be sure to click on the link in the description. I have the sample company here on the left side of my screen. This is the dashboard and what it will look like when you sign in. So let's go ahead and get started with this exercise. We need to get to the reporting center. So to do so, on the left navigation bar, we're going to click Reports. The left navigation bar is over here. Halfway down is Reports. Go ahead and click on that. And then once that comes up, we're going to look for the reports that is the profit and loss by month. And this is in the business overview section. So if I scroll down, here is that business overview, and I scroll down to profit and loss by month, go ahead and click on that. And as soon as you do, you will notice that QBO has run the report for you. Now let's just start by looking at the main categories. We're going to click on Collapse on the top left corner of that report so that we are only seeing the main categories here. You are starting with the P&L report by month because looking at 1 month doesn't really tell you much. It's helpful to look at it over time to see if the financials are looking better or worse and why. Take a look at the screen and highlight the most important components of this report. Total income, which is this line right here. This portion shows the money Craig made and how he made it. It's been increasing month over month, which is positive. You can see it continues to move forward. So total cost of goods or services sold, which is this line right here. This line represents the costs that are directly related to goods and services Craig has sold. This line helps you understand how much it costs Craig to deliver a good or service. These costs increase as revenue increases and decrease when revenue decreases. Now, the gross profit, which is right here under the cost of goods sold, this is the total amount, the total income minus the cost of goods sold gives you that gross profit. So this minus this equals this. The total expenses down here, these are the expenses that are important to the business but are not directly related to specific products sold and or services delivered. And then net income, which is down here, the very bottom one. This is the gross profit minus expenses. Craig's net income last month is negative, and that could be a concern. Now, as a note here, the dates in the sample company are always changing. So what you see on the screen may be different than what is shown here. So when it's referring to last month, it may be a different last month. Just know that the negative numbers down here are a bit of a cause for concern. So, as you consider the report, you ask yourself, do these numbers make sense? If a number is negative, do you know why? In preparation for this meeting with Craig, there are a few questions you should explore. Craig's net income last month was negative. What are the other expenses and how might those be contributing to the bottom line? The line item for pest control services was negative last month. Now, let me see if I can find pest control services. Here it is. And here it is negative right there. It was negative for last month. If this is a service he is selling, shouldn't Craig be generating positive income from it? Also, there's no labor cost showing anywhere here on the P&L. Craig has 2 employees listed in QBO. Are they being paid? Is he going to take a salary for himself? Finally, what is included in the miscellaneous expense? Let's take a deeper dive look at that one. So this is the miscellaneous one. It's under other expenses, this line right here. So in this section, we're going to take a deeper dive looking at this. Miscellaneous is a catch-all category that is used when you don't know what the category should be. But business owners should always know what they are spending their money on. Not only will this help them make future decisions, but it is important for tax time. So let's take a deeper look at that account and see what that looks like in Craig's account. So go ahead and click on the expense line, that $2,666. And then when we do that, we'll be able to see all the transactions that make up that $2,666. Let's go ahead and switch this to the classic view. That just means a different view, just so we can see everything on one screen. QBO is currently switching over all of their reports from what they call their classic view to this now new one, which is the modern view. So let's go ahead and click on switch to classic view so that we can go ahead and see it here. Now, neither of these transactions that we see right here should be categorized as miscellaneous. The first transaction for Tim Philip Masonry is most likely a payment for a custom rock fountain. You'll need to confer with Craig to confirm this is the case, but for now, assume that it is and address it. So let's go ahead and click on that $666 to have that particular transaction come up for us. Now, in the category field, we're going to change that expense category to fountain and garden lighting. So click into it. If you scroll up a little bit, you should be able to see it, fountain and garden lighting. So go ahead and click on that. And then we're going to save and close. So click the down arrow, select save and close, and you will get this pop-up window alerting you that the transaction you are editing is linked to others. This is happening because the bill has already been paid. You can see that right here, and it's linked to payment. Since the payment amount is not affected by your change, it's okay to modify it. So let's go ahead and click on the green yes. And now that bill has been updated and saved. And you will see now that the Tim Philip Masonry expense has been recategorized to the job materials expense account, so it is no longer here on this screen. Now, the remaining transaction is a large payment to the insurance company. You suspect that this large insurance payment may be the premium for the whole year. If that's the case, it should be considered a prepaid expense and handled accordingly, similar to what you learned in a previous exercise. Now, each month, an amount of 1/12 of 2,000 would be recognized as actual expense to cover the insurance costs for that month. 1/12 because there's 12 months in the year. Now you'll need to ask Craig about this at the meeting to confirm that. In fact, the large insurance payment is the premium for the whole year. But you want to see for yourself how the financials will be impacted if the insurance expense is reclassified so you can show Craig why it is important. So let's go ahead and click on that 2000 so that we can have the transaction pull up for us. In the category field, we're going to change it from miscellaneous to prepaid expenses. So go ahead and click into it. I am actually just going to go ahead and start typing in prepaid to have it show up for me. Go ahead and click on it once you have it, and then go ahead and click on the green save and close button. Now, the insurance expense has been recategorized to the prepaid expenses account, so it no longer is reflected on the screen. You'll see on the report screen. So now we'll see what happens to the P&L report. So once again, you are getting this pop up here just like you did in when we fixed the one for Tim Philip Masonry. It is not changing anything with the payment itself. The changing the category makes no difference. So go ahead and click on the green yes button. And now that bill has been updated and saved. And you can see that there are no longer any other transactions in that miscellaneous category. So let's go back to the report summary by clicking on it. That is on the blue lettering up here. And now let's go ahead and click on expand so that we can see more information here. Now scroll down the report to see the bottom half. Okay, so here is the bottom half. You can see how job materials now reflects the $666 spent with Tim Philip Masonry. While the category is now correct, it doesn't affect the bottom line. So if I see here's job materials, we did that fountain and garden lighting, there's that $666 transaction. More importantly, now that the insurance expense has been recategorized to the balance sheet account, the net income is now positive for July. I think it means for the actual month itself. Now, the result of changing one expense is significant. This situation is important to resolve fully with Craig so the insurance payment is handled properly and the financials are an accurate reflection of Craig's situation. So let's go ahead and close it so that we can, or collapse it so that we're only seeing those main categories again. It'll just make it a little bit more manageable to look at other aspects of the P&L. So another issue to discuss with Craig is that pest control services that we see right here. It appears that he is losing money on it. So let's take a closer look at that. Go ahead and click on that -30. And when you do, you'll get this transaction report. Let's go ahead and click on switch to classic view. And now we can see all of the transactions related to this particular category for this account. So looking at the specific transactions, it's clear that Craig refunded money to Pies Cakes because the pest control services were ineffective. There's also a credit on Amy's account for pest control services, possibly suggesting a partial refund to compensate for a problem. The end result is that Craig lost money on pest control services. I think I keep saying pest. If I said pet, sorry, it's pest. You'll want to raise this issue with Craig and ask if there's some other benefit to offering pest control. Perhaps customers only want to use gardeners who can also handle pests that are ruining their gardens. If there aren't any benefits, then Craig may want to consider no longer offering this service. So we can see here's the Pies Cakes. And it looks like there was a full refund there. There was some kind of refund here with Amy's Bird Sanctuary. So those are the two that were mentioned here. But let's go back to that report again. So click on back to report summary so that we can get back to this main screen here. Now, finally, you notice that there's nothing specific about labor expenses noted anywhere on the P&L. Normally, it would be underneath cost of goods sold. For service-oriented business like landscaping, where the labor directly works on the projects that generate the income. It might make sense that with a new business, Craig isn't taking a salary right now, but in the future he will, and that's something he needs to start thinking about. More concerning is that Craig has 2 employees listed in QBO. Is he paying them cash? That would be a serious concern, as income paid to employees must be reported to the IRS. It's a topic to explore in your meeting. So, what happened to that big insurance payment after you recategorized it? It showed up on the balance sheet. So, let's go ahead and take a look at that. If you scroll back to the top, you can click on back to report list so we can get back to that main reporting center here. And this time we want to run the balance sheet. So that is here under favorites as well as under business overview. Go ahead and click on it. And when you do, it has been run for you by QBO. Now, on the assets portion of the balance sheet, which is up here, you can now see the insurance payment appearing as prepaid expenses, adding to Craig's total assets. That is this line right here. Once you confirm with Craig that this was payment for a whole year of insurance, you will create a journal entry, you will create journal entries to spread this out to the correct expense accounts, and it will appear more accurately on the P&L. You can learn more about that and practice doing this in the May issue of the QBO Gym. There are a few other things worthy of discussion with Craig. For example, what are all of these undeposited funds doing? You can see right there. Did he deposit them and forget to tell you? Or does he have a bunch of checks sitting around in his drawer? This situation needs a resolution. So you can go over this with Craig on another day, on the day that you meet with him. And that is how you would run reports. Now, if you like this exercise and you'd like to do more like it, be sure to join our free 5-day bookkeeping challenge. All you need to do is click on the link in the description. We have finished the September issue of the QBO Gym. Congratulations, you did a great job. Keep on practicing and be on the lookout for our October issue. And I will see you then.